It's no secret. Donald Trump loves his rallies, and he's held quite a few of them since announcing his candidacy back in 2016. And he's continued to do so ever since then. And this struck me as a little bit odd, because I don't recall former President Obama holding that many rallies in between campaigns. But for Trump, this is a very normal thing. So this got me thinking, what does Donald Trump gain from holding so many rallies? Is there a strategy behind any of it? Some have suggested that he's testing out his messages before he puts them in his platform. Others say that his rallies are completely worthless. So what is it? To help answer this, I went to Nate Loip, chairman of the Greenville County Republican Party, and he graciously lent me his time in helping me get to the bottom of this mystery. And we started by comparing Trump to Obama. And we discovered that they aren't actually all too dissimilar in that they're campaigning in between campaigns.
I think you'll find that presidents are continually campaigning. They're either campaigning for themselves, they're campaigning for members of Congress, members of the Senate, or even issues. So it's continually happening. With President Trump, you probably recognize it more because instead of drawing small crowds, he's drawing tens of thousands, if not more, each place that he attends. So while past presidents may have done an event or a rally, they weren't as significant and usually didn't get the coverage or the attendance.
You see, the reason I didn't hear about Obama's campaigning in between campaigns was because he wasn't covered. Trump, on the other hand, you know everything he's doing because he dominates media coverage. And this is all to his design. If you look back at the 2016 presidential race, he received a ridiculous amount of media coverage in comparison to his opponents.
I think he obviously dominated it from the moment that he announced he was running for president. It was part of his strategy. I remember an early call during the, really before the primary had started in 2015, and one of his first hirees in South Carolina told me that they had done a lot of marketing research and told me over the phone that Trump was going to be the next president, that he was going to win, that he had researched it. And I think he understands that aspect like no other candidate or president has understood it. So he uses the media to his advantage.
Donald Trump, for as much as he bashes the media is actually one of his greatest allies. As Tim Wu, author of The Attention Merchant, says, "It soon became apparent that the metric of raw attention matters more to this president than the traditional measures of politics, such as achievements or approval ratings. This is because there are really two main questions for who will win this presidential race. Who is the better candidate? Who is heard?" Surprisingly, who is heard is actually the more important question because it overrides who is better.
I've said often, using the sheriff position for an example, the person who may be the best sheriff to do the duties of the sheriff may never get elected if they're not the best candidate. And you often, maybe I shouldn't say often, there is a possibility that a person who is a very good candidate wins, but they don't do a good job of doing the job of sheriff. So you have that race aspect as far as running an election, and you have doing the job that you're being elected to.
And the media is actually starting to catch on to this. They didn't at first, but they're realizing it now. Unfortunately for them, they're in a bit of a tough spot.
I'm seeing kind of a shift right now. I think the liberal media are recognizing that, and they're in a little bit of a conundrum because while it's good for their ratings, it's an ideology that they disagree with. So they're kind of stuck. They want ratings, but they don't want to promote someone who they have a very strong dislike of. So President Trump kind of has them in that situation, but he is really a master at using the media.
President Trump has been very successful at getting the media to drown out his competition. If you look at the New York Times alone, and the number of articles they've written out about Trump in comparison to his opponents, the difference is staggering. The New York Times has been writing about Obama since 1996, when he first became senator, and has continued to write about him up until the present day, coming to a total of about 25,000 articles. Trump, on the other hand, only became a political figure in 2012, and yet the New York Times has written 35,000 articles about him. That is 10,000 more than Obama in a far less span of time. Tim Wu says it best. The history shows that dominating the public awareness is a classic strategy of influence, because the sheer volume of messaging allows the leader to drown out alternatives, transform minds, and begin changing the rules of the game itself. And this is exactly what you see Trump doing. He's dominating the media, he has a massive and strong following, and he single-handedly transformed American politics into what you see today. So back to the original question of this video. Why so many rallies? It's all part of his plan, his strategy to keep the media on him. He's feeding them content through his rallies, through his tweets, through the debates. It's an endless stream of content that keeps him on top. And is his strategy working? Does keeping the attention of America and the media actually work? I believe it does.
It's very significant that in President Trump's rallies the last year or more, that there is a very high percentage of people who did not vote in 2016. And there's also a very high percentage of registered Democrats or historic Democrat voters. I saw one rally not too long ago, I believe it was 15 to 18% of the people who signed up for tickets were actually Democratic voters. And if they're going out to a President Trump rally, it's probably because they're considering that.
I'm Morgan Madish for Greer Today. Thank you for watching.